welcome to Great Principles. I am Seema Choria. Our guest today has been an educationist for past 20 years, during which he has spent over 4 years as a principal of various schools in Uttar Pradesh. Having a postgraduate diploma in computer application, he started out teaching computer science to BSc and BA students as an assistant professor in his initial years. Over time, he has headed IT department in various reputed institutions such as Delhi Public School, Kalyanpur, Kanpur, and Children Public Senior Secondary School, Fatehpur, before taking the role of school principal in various educational institutions. In his word, and I quote, "My goal is to bring required changes in our education system from information transfer to value education. For that, I will never stop my CPD, that is, continuing professional development, and include it as an important chapter in my life and education." We are extremely delighted to welcome Mr. Rakesh Bhatia, Principal, Mount Litera Z School, Kasganj, UP. Welcome to the show, sir. It's an honor to have you here.
Yeah, thank you very much, ma'am.
So, sir, we want to begin by knowing something about you and your career in education.
Right, ma'am. I started my career as a teacher around 22 years back. And it was a really very nice journey because I started my career as an assistant professor. And then later on, after completing 1 year in a college, I decided to work as a school teacher at that time. So, I really loved with the small kids. So I started career as a grade 1 teacher with Harmila Mission School. And around 22 years back, I used to think, there were a lot of things at that time in my mind that when I used to go to school, I used to watch the small kids with the heavy bags. And there was one simple thought in my mind that, how come these small children are bearing the load of these heavy bags? And I don't know when that time will come when they'll just carry the laptop or a small gadget or device and they'll come to school. I was not aware at that time that after 22 years, when this pandemic will come, then we'll see those kind of changes. But anyway, there are, these things, all the changes in the present scenario, uh, there are some positive sides to it and as well as some negative sides to it too. So, this is how I started my journey as a teacher. Then finally, uh, every passing year, I was promoted as a class teacher of the next grade. Then finally, after say around 10 years of working with Harmala Ambition School, I was a postgraduate teacher. Then I worked with DPS Kalyanpur for many years. And then finally, I got the opportunity to work as a vice principal and principal at the various institutions. So, at every step, it was like moving ahead with new challenges, with new problems. And there was just one passion to work on, to move ahead, and to solve the problems. I mean, I was, my thought process was just that I am a problem solver. Whosoever will come with the problem to me, I'll try my best to solve it. Whether it is any student or any teacher or any of my colleague, they just used to call me Mr. Fix It. If they have any problem related to classroom teaching or any counseling, any sort of problem, they just know that there is one person with whom they can go and they can ask for the suggestions and they'll get the solutions from it. So this is how I started my journey. And finally, I am here as a principal at Mount Literacy School, Kasganj. So this is just small intro. This is how I started my journey.
So we have someone who believes in a principal should be very approachable person, to whom the teachers and students can approach and get their problem solved.
Exactly, yes, ma'am.
And and you rightly said, sir, the pandemic really did the very much needed introspection of Indian education system. It really brought in the much needed changes. Very rightly said by you, sir. So going ahead, sir, what is the philosophy of your school and what makes it unique?
Philosophy of my school is to identify the potential of the children. and to nurture it. We do have a very, popular tagline, potentially intus. That means the potential inside. We work on to identify the hidden talent, skills, the abilities the child have, and then we work on it. We nurture it so that they come up what they really wanted to do in life. I mean, it should not happen that they wanted to do something else, but they land up at some other place. I mean, and they are doing something else which they don't wanted to do in the life. So, this is how we work. We work with the digital literacy program, the financial literacy program. We are having a unique program known as DCP, which is basically the positive and the ethical use of the technology. Nowadays, there's a lot of influence of the technology in our life. And if we don't know how to use the technology in a right way, it will be our fault. So the ethical use of technology is the need of the hour. It is really very important for each and everyone to how to take control on these gadgets rather than these gadgets take control on you. So that's what I think that is the need of that.
Yeah, a wonderful philosophy of the school, which believes in realizing the child's full potential and making them ignite the spark to do what they want to. A wonderful philosophy of the school, and no doubt the tech edge is very much needed today for all of us, including our students. Absolutely rightly said by Sir that the right usage should also be guided by schools on how to use the technology in the right direction. On this note, sir, we move ahead, sir. So, how does your prepare? How does your school prepare its students for the future?
And we do organize multiple sessions and in school practices. Rather in the form of some assignments or some practicals where we request the child and we insist the child to learn and to showcase what they have learned in the form of culminations or in the form of the presentations. So, this is the way how we move on.
So, sir, this is the way your school is performing. If I ask you that what would be an ideal way for other schools to make the children future ready, what would be your guidance to them?
For the other schools, it is really very important. All the changes which are there in national education policy. This is the need of the hour. See, there's a huge gap between what the students are learning in the school and what is the requirement of the higher education or the industry.
Right.
So we need to work on the skill development rather than rote learning, what they do normally in the school. So we need to imbibe certain skills, certain mechanism where they do where they just don't go for the rote learning. They do things practically, they learn it, and then they showcase it. So that rather than when they'll move on in their career or in the future, they use that practical knowledge with some skills and problem solving ability.
Absolutely, sir. NEP do have wonderful changes coming in, and we hope that the skill learning would be, practiced by all the schools soon and making the children future ready, as sir has put it. So now we move to the next question, sir. We were just talking about the COVID things and the virtual learning. So, what are the effects of virtual learning on students' academic performance?
As far as effects are concerned, I think there's positive and negative both.
Yeah.
In case if student will not learn the right way of controlling the technology, again, we will see many adverse effects like stress, anxiety, eyesight problem, vision problem, uh, addiction to the mobile gadgets, less physical activity, which is again causing health issues, emotional stress. There are a lot of issues. If they will be just engaged with the mobile or tab, they'll isolate themselves with these gadgets, which will again create a new problem. So there are a lot of effects which I think that virtual learning will create. But at the same time, they need to be very focused, and they need to know that how to come up from these things. Rather, I mean, a student can start learning, but he or she will not know when he will use Google or any other website for search, for some research work, and all of a sudden he will find something interesting flashing on the website, and he will deviate from the main goal. I mean, it is very attractive and very addictive. So again, this is a big problem because I have observed there are many students, those who start with learning, or they tend to show that they are learning, but all of a sudden they move to some other website, they engage themselves with all sort of games and all, and they don't know when their precious time is wasted. So
Right.
this is what I mean, most of the time I share this thing with my students, that this mobile gadget is there for your help. You need to learn how to control it. If you will not learn the right way, then these are the obstacle. This will work as an obstacle in your future goal or your career. Main aim is to use the resources so that you can do, or you will be able to do what you really wanted to do. If you
Right.
will waste your time, then again, this pandemic is again a golden opportunity for those students who really wanted to work hard and learn and crack some examination and competition. And I'm sure that they will be able to do it if they are focused. If they know that what is the right way to use the resource, and they are focused, they are having enough time to work on. Because normally when they used to go to school, a lot of the travel time was wasted, and when they were in the school, peer pressure and many other things used to be there in the school. So I mean, they are safe from all those consequences. Now they are having maximum time to utilize. They can work on the problem solving abilities, their practices. So in this way, I think that there is a mixed kind of effect of virtual learning. Those who really wanted to, it is a boon for them. They can do miracle. And those who were not interested in learning, again, it will create a huge gap because they were not at all focused. They don't know what is the aim in the life. Again, they will indulge themselves in all sort of various other different activities. So they'll not be able to do what they wanted to do. So this
Absolutely,
will
sir.
create a mixed kind of effect.
Yeah, it definitely has both pros and cons, and learning can never end. But the one who has an urge to learn will make it anyhow. So definitely, this virtual and physical both educations have their own impacts. But when one door is open, we cannot just restrict it to the boundaries as pandemic has brought in.
Right.
Right. So on this note, sir, we'll move ahead, sir. Tell us how the changes we see in imparting education during COVID-19 changes the future of higher education in India.
Right, ma'am. Again, I like to focus on the skill-based education. That means to convert the manpower into valuable human capital.
Yeah.
Education needs to help them to achieve their true unique potential. However, there is a big gap today between what education need to do and what is actually they are doing. So we at ZLearn, we aim to bridge the gap. Our purpose is to improve human capital and helping the individual to realize their own unique potential through quality education.
Right. So the COVID-19, the whatever the virtual learning changes, the ban of examination, no exams, and evaluating on the basis of previous performances, how this will all this coupled will have an impact on the future of higher education, sir.
Most of the higher education institutions, they take their own competitive examinations. So I don't
Right.
think so that there will be much effect how much they are scoring in class 10 or their class 12 grade exams or board exams. They need to work on that. Again, we need a lot of change in the assessment system in India. I
Right.
mean, lot of improvement is required. I mean, even the higher education institutions need to make all those reforms and changes. And then education need to be changed according to the learning outcomes and what we need, what kind of manpower we really wanted to create. So, I mean, rather than accessing a student on the ability of rote learning or their capacity of the memory, there are a lot of other ways to assess. So, I think that I mean, the board examination result should not be the criteria of admission or in higher education institutions.
Absolutely, sir. This cutoff thing has so much plates on so many minds, parents, students, everyone is running behind this cutoff. And this really psychologically also affect the students, They're not, just create a lot of pressure and they're not able to perform well.
Right, ma'am.
So, sir, we move on to the next section, sir. We would like to, you have many achievements. So we would like to know the achievement you are most proud of.
Achievements and accomplishments which I'm most proud of in my career is when I started working with Mount Literacy School. I mean, Kasganj is basically not very uh, a metro city. It is a very small town, and staff training was really a big challenge over there. So training of for the staff members and teachers for my school, along with the help of the Zealand, this was, I mean, really accomplishment. I feel very proud that even after 1 year of the pandemic, I feel really very proud. My teachers are doing wonderful job. They know, I mean, from last 1 year, it was a really big challenge for the teachers. I mean, all of a sudden, the traditional classrooms and schools were shut down, and every school was in panic. What to do now? How to move on? And at that time, even for a half an hour online class, my teachers were working for more than 4 hours just to prepare to deliver half an hour online lecture. They have worked really very hard, and I'm really very happy to see all those positive changes in my teachers. And now my teachers are so well versed that they know each and everything, how to share the screen, how to make their own content, how to present it, how to make the class control, how to manage. I mean, in case if we find that in online classes, if two, three students will just turn on the mic, then all of a sudden you will find that the classroom is not conducive for the communication. It will only be a huge noise. So,
Right.
I mean, it was a really very big challenge to tell the students that, Peter, please, you mute yourself and you can use the raise hand option or
Options.
button, that in case if you want to ask any question, you press this button, your teacher will uh, call you, only then you're allowed to unmute yourself and ask your question. And again, see, what I think is that, I mean, delivering a lesson online, the teaching learning process is entirely different. The teacher used to do earlier. So now for online classes, we need to differentiate it very clearly. In case of a teacher is sharing a new topic, then simply it can be simplex communication. Simplex communication is something where we find one-way communication, like television. It is a medium of a mass communication, but we only watch whatever all the major companies they broadcast. We just receive the information. That's the one way of the communication. So I always request my teachers that if you are introducing a new topic, just make it a short, very small topic, introduce it, and don't allow any child to disturb you. Just introduce a small topic, and then you will have a doubt clearing session. We, you need to tell all the students that in case if you have a doubt, just make a habit to note it down in your notebook. And then when we will arrange for a doubt clearing session, then one by one you can ask your doubts. So I mean, that kind of atmosphere, really it was a big challenge for me to create just after the pandemic. I mean, the last year which we had observed. But I'm really very happy that my teachers were able to take control on it. And almost now they're having 1 year experience of online classes. And now they love to share to the screen, and they love to create their own content and share along with the students.
Absolutely, sir. For teachers, it has been the tough time, unlearning, relearning, and learning. To complete transition, and no doubt that this is something to be most proud of. Seeing your teacher performing so well. So, sir, on this note, we reached to a very interesting segment of the show, which is called Rapid Fire Round. You have to answer in one word only. All right.
Right, ma'am.
So
I'll try
here
my best,
goes.
ma'am.
Yeah. So here goes the first question. Describe your leadership style in one word.
Okay. I need to answer in one word.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll try my best, ma'am, but maybe it can be 2, 3 words. I'll
Granted.
apologize for 2, 3 words. My style of leadership is, nurture and task-oriented leadership.
Okay. Wonderful.
Now, do I need to explain it, or is it enough?
It's a one-word round, sir. So we need to hold
Right,
this
ma'am.
here. So it's a nurture task-oriented leadership. All right.
Right, ma'am.
So my next question to you is: name a school principal you admire the most.
Hmm. School principal I admire the most. I really admire Miss Archana Nigam. She's principal Mount Delhi Public School, Kalyanpur. I mean, I have worked under Ma'am Nigam, so she's my role model. I mean, really, I've learned a lot from my principal, ma'am, and I really thank her for all those opportunities. I mean, a true leader is the one who creates more leaders. I mean, if it is any leader, a lot of subordinates are there. I mean, when a leader work on. So, I mean, if a principal is creating more leaders, wonderful, marvelous. She's my role model.
Absolutely, sir. So, sir, now my next question to you is: what is the right form of education? One model for all or individualized learning?
Right, ma'am. This is again a very difficult question, I think. But see, there is no, I mean, perfect answer to this question. It, it depends on the need of the child. Uh, I mean, right now, what we are doing is, I mean, child-centric education in the school. So it depends on, I mean, if it is a need of the hour, then individual learning is also good. And if possible, then, I mean, sometime all the students learn when they work on a project along with their peers.
All right. Going on to the next question, sir. Does technology connect us more or isolate us more?
Technology connects us also and it isolates also. Again, it depends on what kind of, I mean, if there's any individual who's using it authentically. If there's no abuse, then of course the technology helps us to connect. And in case if I'll abuse any electronic gadget, it will be a root cause of the isolation.
Brilliantly answered,
Most of
sir.
the time we find.
Sir, you there? Sir, you're
I think,
there?
ma'am, there's some network issue. Yes,
All
ma'am.
right.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible, sir. So we were talking about:
Right, ma'am.
does technology connect us more or isolate us more?
I think the technology connects us more.
Connects us more. All right. Great. Going ahead, sir, what do children need more of today? A teacher, a mentor, or a friend?
Uh, and children need a mentor.
A mentor, all right.
a facilitator.
A facilitator, right, sir? Of which of the two is most important, having talent or working hard?
I think both the things are important. I mean, having talent also and working hard also. I mean, because if there's any individual who is having talent, and if he or she is not willing to work hard, then there's no use of that talent. So working hard and talent, they both are equally important.
So this was really fun round. Sir answered all the questions really brilliantly and very insightful answers, sir. So going sir ahead, sir, we saw your professional side. Now, when you are not working, what do you do? What are your hobbies and sports you are involved into, and why do you enjoy them?
Ma'am, my hobbies are listening to music. Sometimes I love to compose music. I have a synthesizer at my home. I learn to play keyboard. I'm having mouth organ also, and I'm having keen interest in music. It gives superpower or super recharging energy to anyone who is, I mean, stressed or what I say, overburdened by any work. So I get energy from all these hobbies and all. So these are really important. If you are having a hobby and you are enjoying it, so you get energy to work again next day.
Great, sir. So this is Rakesh, sir, for whom music energizes him and give him the booster to go ahead. So this brings to me to the last question of the day, which is, what is your opinion about teaching profession in India? And if you are given a chance to tell government that how can we improve the quality of teaching and learning, what would be your suggestion?
In order to improve the quality of teaching and learning in India, first we need to have more institutions and more options for the teachers' training. It is really very important to empower the teachers and to bring all those required tools and resources for them so that they can work and move ahead. Unless and until we empower and we give all the resources to the teacher, they cannot deliver what we expect, and students will not be able to do what they really have to do. So this is what I think, ma'am. I mean, proper teacher training and professional development, lifelong learning kind of passion is really important for each and every individual in this profession.
And what do you think? What is the condition today? So this we spoke about. How can we improve this? So teaching as a profession, there are many people who just take it as a chance. It's not their choice. So what do you think about this?
Recently, government has made a lot of provisions. I mean, they have increased the time duration for the bachelor's in education. I mean, earlier we used to see that the formal degree to go for this teaching profession was B.Ed. It was of just 1 year. Then finally it was changed to 2 year. But now we'll be having 4-year integrated professional degree. Those who really wanted to come to this profession, then we will find the teachers by choice, not teachers by chance.
Definitely, sir. And it's the time when this profession is looked up as not anything just to do when you're not getting anything else. In fact, this should be the prime, the prime requirement that yes, I want to be a teacher and I'm passionate about bringing change and changing so many lives. So great, sir. It was a very delightful conversation with you. We had a lot of discussion on how COVID has changed our life and how we can make the education system better. It was really wonderful and insightful discussion, and I'm sure my viewers are going to get a lot of insights. So thank you so much, sir, for your time. We are really grateful, sir.
Same here, ma'am. Thank you very much, Seema, ma'am. And really, it was indeed nice interacting with you.